talking about the Eternals, the big topic at the time of this recording, or talking about a classic character that most people have forgotten about and who the original character version only had one appearance really. Well, I know which one I'm doing. Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old to history to anecdotes, truly wherever our whims take us. The Human Target. At the time of this recording, he's getting his own angsty maxi series written by Tom King with art by Greg Smallwood, hopefully for the whole thing. There's also this cool Clue variant cover that I really like. Now mileage varies hard on Tom King's writing, and for those who are wondering / familiar with his tropes, yes, they are all there in issue 1. We're not here to talk about issue 1. I couldn't start you off on the Human Target in the modern era. I mean, I could have, but I'm not like that. We're not going to talk about this Christopher, or past Christopher, or the TV show Christopher. We're not going to talk about Christopher at all. Yes, there were multiple TV shows, by the way.
We haven't been properly introduced. Heads up.
We're gonna go back to the beginning because nobody cares, and that makes me care. It activates the obscurity symbol up here in the attic, and I cannot resist the call. There was a Human Target before Christopher Chance, and that was Fred Venable. He appeared in one Silver Age comic. In Detective Comics, I swear I'm not trying to drown you in Batman, it's just happening. He's everywhere. Now Fred appears appropriately enough in the tale called The Human Target. It's written by Edmund Hamilton with art by Sheldon Moldoff, and I was inspired to talk about it not only because of my love of the forgotten, but because the write-up for Fred on Comic Vine is harsh as heck. I mean, listen to this. Venable needed the money for his child who yada yada sob story. Batman and Robin helped Venable out and vice versa. No, I refuse. He deserves better than that. I mean, not really, but it's really harsh. I'm Sasha. Do the YouTube things. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and let's give Fred a proper send-off. Now, Venable has 2 listed appearances, but really there's only 1. There's this Detective Comics 201 from 1953. The other one is just kind of an encyclopedia style thing. So yeah, technically it's another appearance, but it's not another story. Danger threatens Batman and Robin when they become bodyguards of the reckless man who made himself the Human Target. This cover's alright. Nothing hugely memorable, except I now have so many questions as to why this assassin decided to hide inside the clock. There was a suit of armor right there, man. Embrace the cliche. The teaser page it shows is full of lies. The Human Target is in costume, which never happens, nor would it based on what the Human Target does. The write-up is amusing though. He was a man who laid his life on the line. A man who deliberately exposed himself to others. Whoa, 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 whoa. Exposed himself to others' weapons of death. Okay, that's all right then, but maybe we shouldn't break off the sentence right there. Maybe we should have connected that, or he's gonna need another name. The Exposer, the Flasher, something else. But he had a reason for doing it. A good reason. Well, I'm glad it was a good reason. Comic Vine doesn't think so though. I could store my meat with how salty that description was. We open on a Prince Michael Gruyere. Prince of where or what? I don't know. They say that he's a European statesman. Look, he has a monocle. It must be true. He's supposed to be going to a reception via open car parade, but he doesn't want to because he's received a death threat. They've arranged for a police escort and Batman and Robin, but he's still wary. But he says that he feels he has to do it because otherwise he'll be branded as a coward. This is 1953. Years later, based on certain historical events, no one would think that. Suddenly, a gentleman appears who looks just like him. My name is Fred Venable. I used to be an impersonator. It was easy to get in here because everyone thought I was you, Your Highness. Wow, the prince really should be worried about this death threat because his security's terrible. Venable offers to take his place as a human target for what he calls an exorbitant fee. You could buy me, a human target, for $5,000. Wow, what a bargain. Even I can hire the Human Target. Ooh, I wonder which wig he'll choose. Actually, if you adjust it for inflation, it's more. It's around $50,000, a little over, but still, you know, it's not bad for the service he's offering. Now, the prince does not hire him outright. Instead, he gets him vetted by Batman and Robin, which is a surprisingly responsible decision. He is in Gotham, though, so it's the right one. They do look into him, and it's here we get his backstory, which is admittedly pretty generic. His daughter is ill or hurt. Crippled, the comic says. How? I don't know. They show crutches in her room later on, so I'm gonna give her a backstory because the comic doesn't. Based on the time period, I'm gonna go with polio. It doesn't really matter because she's really only there to be a character motivation for her dad, while also making sure that you understand that he's using his powers for good. His power of impersonation. With the seal of approval on both his lack of criminal record and sad good guy backstory, the Human Target is hired. And good thing too, there was an assassination attempt. The reporters had fake camera lenses that were actually guns. Batman and Robin stopped them. But Batman and Robin can't shake the Human Target. Batman, Turk Vincent just broke out of the pen. We're alerting all units. I love the name Turk Vincent. Where's his maxi series? Vincent is out for vengeance against the man whose testimony put him away. But when Batman and Robin get there, that man's already hired the Human Target. We do actually get some time with Fred and his daughter, and some talk about how doing this work stresses him out and it's hard on his nerves, but it's worth it for his little girl. Fred is just taking on any job, trying to amass this unspecified amount of money he needs for this unspecified operation for his daughter's unnamed ailment. But But word has gone around Gotham's underground. People are learning about the service he offers, and this information falls into the wrong hands. There's a gangster who's set to be taken out by the syndicate for overstepping and decides that he'll use the human target. But he thinks that this will be a great way for him to escape and start a new life because he says that nobody escapes the syndicate. So this will essentially be a way for him to fake his own death. Now, of course, for drama, Fred by this point already has all the money he needs. He's actually going for a party. They're going to celebrate, and Batman and Robin are going to be there because they've kind of become friends. I mean, when you're sitting around just waiting for assassins, you get to talking. Well, Fred's daughter has been kidnapped, so he takes on the role of this gangster, whose name is Blinky. But Batman and Robin spot him because he doesn't replicate Blinky's flower allergy. This tips them off. Blinky, what have you done to get that as your handle? Batman says he'll impersonate Blinky and save Venable's daughter, who has a name, by the way. It's Marianne. They at least name her, which is more than I can say for Aquaman's son, who for the first little bit is just called the Aqua Baby. For issues. Ooh, it's Robin, just like the movie, is coming in the nick of time. The ending is very contrived. They get Blinky, and also the syndicate members who want to kill him, because Batman, as Blinky, sees a kid about to be hit by a car, which is being driven by those members, so he dives in to save the kid. And they get out to kill him, but then the human target, dressed as Batman, draws their attention on a rooftop and even gets shot, while Batman, disguised as Blinky, takes them out. Fred says that he went and got a Batman costume when he was just waiting to see if he could be useful, because what Batman was doing for him, waiting for the chance to impersonate Batman. It's both sweet and disturbing. It's a little unhinged. So Fred leaves with Marianne to Switzerland, saying he'll write to say how her operations went. Lies. He never wrote because he stopped existing. This story is forgettable, but the concept of the human target is a good one. The backstory is pretty generic, so it's understandable why they changed it, but the bones are there, even for some of the psychological issues they'll use for Chris later on. Christopher Chance debuts in Action Comics 419 in 1972. It's a very Bronze Age outing, and he's actually in the backup story. At first I thought he was in the start, and so I read through this entire Superman issue, waiting for him to show up, so this Clark can't touch the ground because of something that happened to him in space. Okay, Clark needs to get a zoot suit for a costume party. Okay, and here's me just waiting for the human target. Christopher's first outing sees him doing pretty much what Fred did. He offers his services, impersonates the person, and nearly dies in the process. The difference is the tone, execution, and Chris's mentality. Chris does not have an ailing daughter backstory. No, Chris is something darker. He would get more and more flawed over time. From thrill seeker who could not fear because of childhood trauma, to a man who became so immersed in impersonating others he forgot who he was. And he couldn't even form relationships with people because he wasn't sure if he liked them or not. If you look for them, which I did, you can see some of those seeds in Fred. They obviously take the ability to impersonate and the willingness to do so, and of course doing it for money, for hire, and kind of being a bodyguard. But that ending where he's just waiting for the chance to be Batman, there's something there. It was a concept that needed a bit of work. And Fred wasn't all that memorable as mentioned, so why not do it again with a character with a much better name? Christopher Chance, CC, Casually Comics. It all comes around. And of course, why not give him those patented Reed Richards hair streaks? Now, I can see why some people forgot about Fred, but Fred is ground zero for the genesis of the human target. Someone looked at Fred and said, I hate everything about this idea except for the name and what he does. And so now I can move on to the other human target outings, secure in the knowledge that you now know about Fred and that it's taking up space in your brain. Space you could have used for something else. Did you know about Fred Venable? Christopher Chance? The Human Target? Did you watch any of the shows? Are you reading the new time of recording Tom King series? Tell me all the things down below. While you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking this time of your day spent discussing comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.